On Two Wheels this week, a look at Honda's latest muscle machine, the X11, and Jeff rides Suzuki's GSXF600, and Wayne explains all we've ever needed to know about intercoms. A few days ago at the office, I received a phone call which said, "Paul, would you like to come and spend a few days with a naked bird?" Well, you can imagine my reaction. Until I found out that the naked bird in question was this, Honda's new X11, the naked blackbird. Now, every so often a new bike comes out which makes you stop and think. You start asking questions, things like, what's the point? Why have they done it like that? And that was my first reaction when I first learned of Honda's new X11. It's a naked, retro-style bike based around the superb blackbird, but it's capable of over 2.5 times the national speed limit. Can you believe it? A retro-style machine that's been built to look mean and aggressive, leaving all but the very best of the sports class lagging way behind in terms of performance. It's quite amazing. But perhaps not quite so amazing when you realise that it really is a blackbird underneath. Well, I say underneath, there's not actually anything to be underneath, no fair in a completely naked bike, as you can see. But that is a blackbird motor down there, which has been detuned, a lot of people will say. I personally prefer to use the term retuned, because it's got a different type of power delivery now to the blackbird. It's got different fuel injection settings, different timing. What they've done is taken the very edge off the top end performance, but produced much more mid-range, more usable power. Means you don't have to be flicking up and down the gearbox to really keep it on the boil. And that's another change. The gearbox on this now is a 5-speed as opposed to the more conventional 6-speed. Again, helps to give you more mid-range power where you can really enjoy it. At 222 kilos, the X11 is no lightweight, but it's still very manageable. Straight line acceleration has to be experienced to be believed. Any of the superlatives which you'll hear, such as arm-wrenching, eye-popping, neck-straining and chest-splitting, can rightly be applied to this machine. So it's a naked blackbird. Well, yes and no. The engine's the same, more or less, as we've said, but one of the most striking features is this frame, which is brand new. And I must say, when I first saw it and stood back and looked at it, side view, it did remind me a bit of the old Honda Revere. Remember that? Looked a bit like that. But it's a brand new frame, twin spar aluminium, but it's got this huge centre casting down there at the back, which provides a centre pivot point for the swing arm, which is completely different to the Blackbird, where the swing arm normally bolts straight onto the back of the engine. And up at the front here, we've got this rather weird and kind of space-agey looking oil cooler and radiator surround, which Honda say has been designed to really force the air through the radiator and the oil cooler, and at the same time to create a vacuum in these side ports here to actually pull the hot air out of the way. Sounds good to me, all very clever stuff. And you can't fail to notice down here, these downpipes, look at that. A work of art and a pipe bender's dream. Or is it a pipe bender's nightmare? I'm not so sure. And down at the back end here, there's a little badge that Blackbird and VFR 800 owners will be familiar with. Dual CBS, combined braking system. All it does, when you press the front brake, it brakes the back as well. And vice versa, press the rear brake pedal, brakes the front end. It's actually far more complicated and much more technical than that, but that's basically what happens. I won't bore you with all the details. And while we're talking about the back, Blackbird owners, I'm sure, will agree that the bungee hooks on a Blackbird are in the wrong place. They're too high up, they're too close to the seat, they need to be further down. So you'd have thought they'd have got it right on this. Well, they have, they've moved them. In fact, they've moved them off completely, because now there aren't any bungee hooks to be found at all. And there's hardly any room to put anything under the seat. Look at that, big battery down there, toolkit, not much room for anything. You certainly wouldn't even get a pair of waterproofs underneath that. So how are you supposed to carry anything on one of these? I'm not so sure. But let's stop the moaning, let's think positive. And something I do like is this very trendy little dashboard up here with its red face clocks. Look at them, dead smart, aren't they? I think they are anyway. All the usual sort of warning lamps there. We've got a fuel warning light. We haven't got a fuel gauge, that would have been better. We haven't got a clock, telling the time clock that is. That would have been useful as well. But I can't help thinking when I look at this of a Malaguti scooter or something like that. It looks just like one of the consoles that you see on the front of these trendy modern scooters. And I'm not sure that it's strictly in keeping with the retro theme where we'd be more used to seeing the sort of chrome-backed instruments, that type of thing, but it's certainly very different, very distinctive Very smart. It also does a reasonable job of deflecting some of the wind blast away from your chest. It's not super efficient, but it does work. And that's important because it's very easy to find yourself zipping along at a ton plus before you know it. But this is no straight line dragster. The X11 can be chucked around with the best of the sports bikes. The handling is superb. The upright riding position makes you feel totally in control, whilst the dual CBS braking system gives you great confidence. This is a very capable machine, which has the uncanny knack of feeling relaxed at virtually any speed. And at just £6,500, there'll be no shortage of customers for Honda's new X11. And if you're still not convinced, think of Yamaha's VMAX with more comfort, better handling, superb brakes and as much power as you dare to use, and you won't be too far out.
The 600cc market, dominated by sports bikes. Yes, we've got the CBR 600, ZX6R, Yamaha's R6 and the GSXR600 all snapping at the heels. So where does this Suzuki's GSXF600 fit in? In the real world, that's where. Sure, its power at 80 brake is down on a sports bike, but it's got more power than a 1.4 Ford Fiesta, so it's not exactly underpowered. In fact, the retuned GSXR motor is a perler. It's smooth and torquey and ideally suited to a sports touring middleweight like this. And talking about touring, look at this. Might not be very fashionable, but it's got a centre stand. And that's ideal when you're touring because you can store your luggage on the back, strap it onto the old bungee hooks there. It's great, and also it's good for maintenance because you can adjust the back chain. In fact, I think no bike should be without one. So what else have we got? Well, up the front, this fairing, really neat, very smooth, faired in. It's not massive, but it does the job and it's surprisingly effective. Here you've got really good mirrors. And I mean, these days they are more and more important, but it's really a treat to see everything that's behind you instead of just seeing your elbows. Inside the cockpit itself, instruments, nothing that fantastic, but everything's there that you want, including the old fuel gauge. And as you can see on top of the forks here, they're adjustable for rebound damping. Down at the bottom, again, nothing fantastic, but the brakes, 4-pot calipers, 2 of them, no problem. Stops the bike. Again, this is a real world bike. What more do you want? And at the back here, the rear suspension, that's adjustable for preload and rebound damping. Not exactly easy to get up, but nevertheless, it's tucked up under there. You can do it. And it all works very well. Some might not like the round styling, but I think it suits its role well. It's an all-rounder, you see. Anyway, the riding position is relaxed, the fairing very effective, and the motor, as I've said, is as sweet as a nut. Derived from the air, oil-cooled GSXR, it can really motor if you want, but it's just as happy burbling along in the mid-range. Weight-wise, it's a reasonable 200 kilos, and the suspension is more than adequate to cope. It's compliant but not soft, and the handling is fluid, safe and predictable, making for a relaxed ride. And that's all helped, of course, by this massive seat. Plenty of room for 2 up, and also you as the pilot sit in this, not on it. But also, underneath there, if you just lift off the old seat, Suzuki say there's 4.5 litres of storage space under here. And you can see it, there's that big trough down the bottom there where you could put your waterproofs in. You've got this space here for a U-lock and the tail in there for your tools. All very useful stuff. And what you can also see, of course useful for a touring bike, is this, the old grab rail for the pillion passenger. Just a job. Reinforces its touring capabilities are the old bungee hooks. You've got one there, one there, one there. That's 6 points altogether to get those old bungee elastics on. You can see the old helmet lock there. And also, if you look up on the fairing here, we've got the fuel tap with a reserve position on it and a priming one. Really useful. As you know, most bikes just got warning lights these days, but you can't beat a reserve. If we come to the rear end, very appropriate that. This tyre looks narrow by today's standards, 150mm cross section, but it's adequate for the job. It's sensible, remember. Now while I'm here, you can't really forget this or omit it. What does it remind you of? A baboon's bum, I'd say, but perhaps that's a bit unkind. But anyway, onto more practical things. Silencer down there, all stainless steel system, right from the end can right through to the engine. So if you're an all-weather rider, this could be the bike for you. So what's wrong with it then? Nothing, absolutely nothing. And why don't we see more of them? Because we want to be noticed, it seems. This one, you see, is for the thinker, the one who thinks more of his pocket and his bum than he does his image. It'll do everything most of us are capable of, and at 5,174 list, or just 4,199 for this parallel, I have to say it's a bit of a bargain. Born agains, think again. This could be for you.
And coming up on Two Wheels after the break, Wayne explains the ins and outs of motorcycle intercoms. This week we're going to talk about communication, motorcycle communication and communication between motorcyclists. I have with me here a communication expert here. It's you, Wayne.
Well, what happened? Did the other guy not turn up or
no,
something?
couldn't get anyone else.
So I'm a standing, am I?
You're it today.
Right then, okay.
So we're going to talk about bike communication. You've brought a lot of gear in here. All looks very high-tech, sophisticated.
Some of it is. Some of it is very high-tech. But there are simple systems available.
Right.
You've got the original system we use on a day-to-day basis. Hello, can you hear me?
Right. Are you going to be serious now?
This
is a serious thing.
All right then, Right, we'll move on to the next level. Pick that up. Pick that. That's your mouthpiece and earpiece.
Right.
I'll just take it through the exchange here. Can you hear me all right?
Okay, it's very good. It actually does work, that.
Doesn't it? It's clever, isn't it?
It's very good. Just hang on the line. I've got another call coming through. Hang on. Hello? Sorry, I couldn't resist that.
Right, okay. Hey, but you might laugh, but you know that, like, you do laugh, don't you?
I do laugh, yeah.
Hey, you have to laugh. But you know the communications used on the old ships and everything, where the captain's up on the bridge and he goes down the tube and everything to the engine room. They still use, we use that. There is a system, use that with rubber tubes.
Yeah.
Great system, works well.
Back chats or something.
That's them, back chat, and they're about 50 quid.
Does it actually work, that, talking through tubes on your bike?
Does, honestly. It's a little, some people find it uncomfortable, and there's actually lots of these tubes, and so that people don't sort of get on with it. But it does work if you want a communication system that'll work. No amplification, you see, so it doesn't amplify all the wind sounds or anything. So it's good.
No electronics in that?
Yeah.
This looks like an electrician's nightmare.
Yeah, well, there's a lot here. I mean, we've had to buy an awful lot of batteries to get these things working, because they're all on different things, you know. But yeah, they take batteries and they are amplifiers.
So let's talk about rider to pillion. So what's that? Earpiece?
Yeah, an earpiece microphone. The microphones are
Is that the microphone?
Yeah, that looks like a spot.
It's like a giant boil.
Yeah, give it a squeeze. But that's just a diffuser, right? That's a little diffuser, and you stick that in your ear. But there is a problem with this.
Right.
You might
so
have noticed.
that velcro's inside your helmet,
yeah, that's right.
And that velcro's inside your
chin
chin piece?
question now, I'll ask you one more time. There's a problem with this. Do you know what it is?
No, I don't know.
What if you've got an open face helmet? Where do you stick that?
I could tell you.
Yes.
Because you talk through it most of the time.
Leave it. Leave it.
Right. Okay.
Right. Okay. So that is a problem with open face.
Right. It is a problem.
Well, this problem has been addressed by other companies as well.
Okay.
And what you do is you get something like this. Mm-hmm. And this slides up there into your helmet.
Right.
And you bring the one round to your mouth.
Like that.
And that'll work open face or full face.
Right. So what? 60 odd quid? You say?
Yeah.
70 odd quid?
£75. They do a system. This is a basic system, but they also do one for about £20 more, whereby it's got a radio in it.
Oh, right.
FM radio. You can listen to the music and so on.
All right. Yeah.
And when you speak, it shuts the music up. And when you stop speaking, which is very rare in your case, the music comes back again.
Right, all right. So
clever that, isn't it?
That's quite clever, yeah. Quite good. Right, 60 odd, 70 odd, what, 90 odd quid?
Yeah, just over 90 quid.
Right. So that's rider to pillion.
Yeah.
That's okay. What if you want to go, like, the next step?
Then
talk to your mates on their bikes.
Right, well then you've got this system here. Again, there's absolutely loads of these as well. Hundreds of these. In fact, if you just... Let's have a bit of a tidy up here, Cocker.
So where?
Move these away.
It's a bit messy, isn't it, all this?
It always is when we're doing a job, and get rid of them.
Get rid of them.
Right, yeah.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Bike to bike.
Yeah, bring these over, because these are an intercom bike-to-bike system as well.
Right.
This one here, Ultra Talk by Osby. is like a walkie-talkie.
It looks exactly like a walkie-talkie.
It's got a bent wand at the moment, but you just rearrange that's a rubber wand. So you stick that in your skyrocket or inside your jacket or whatever you want, clip it on.
Okay.
Okay. And it's got with it the earpieces just like the other types. You also get with it a button, so you can press to talk.
All right,
you press the button. Or it's Vox controlled. What is Vox, you might ask?
I know what Vox is.
Oh, go on then, clever clogs.
Voice activated. It's business, isn't it?
It is indeed.
So it knows when you're speaking.
Precisely.
Clever.
But you know, this doesn't always work so well on bikes because it doesn't know the difference between your voice and all the noises around you.
Of course, yeah.
So you have the ability to alter the sensitivity on most of the units that are of this type, except if you're going quite quick, the noises around are quite loud. So you have to shout to activate the Vox.
Right, which is not such a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
It means
but having a button to press isn't a bad thing either.
No, that's right.
What's
this?
Well, that
this
is
like
another form of... Well, it's a clip mic, like we've got on here.
Something off a little Walkman.
Well, it's the same type of earpiece.
Is that a microphone?
And that's a microphone. Clip that to your jumper.
Well,
because this sort of thing can be used for other things as well, not just on your bike.
Right.
So they have got a bit more versatility.
Okay.
So you'd need 2 of these.
Yes, you would.
So it's a couple of £100 because they're about £100 a unit in this case.
Okay. So that one there.
Yeah.
See this? I recognise this. Everyone will recognise this. Anyone that lives near a city will know. Rider training schools.
All of them. You see a gaggle, don't you, going down the road?
Going down with these
big
on. Floppy aerials sticking off their helmets.
Well, they don't have this bracket on here because this is for on your head.
Right.
But you take this off and you Velcro this unit to the outside of your helmet.
Let me just.
And they're disliked because of it. But it needs to be done like that. You
look
nearly have my eye out with that.
Like a bit like a Martian, don't you, going down the street? Yeah.
Well, you would if you took your helmet off.
So this is Max on, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is very well.
This is the basic system.
Okay.
Single channel, whereas they have a 5-channel system as well. So there's improvements.
Yeah, because they have a few pupils, don't they? And the instructor can talk to all of them.
Yeah. And you very often, in the case of the training schools, they very often block the microphone out for the pupil because they'd have 5 people talking to them at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant for the job, and that's why thousands and thousands are sold. Because also they're quite well priced.
Go on.
Just a touch under £60 buys you a unit, so just a little over £100 buys you 2. You can buy 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or whatever.
All right. What's this here?
Ah, these are good. Now these are new.
These are the walkie-talkies again.
They are, but they're a bit different. These are very clever, and they're brand new here. But but they've been heavily used in the States.
All right.
Yeah, as an alternative to cell phones.
Yeah?
Yeah, because in the States they're allowed to use them over quite a lot further distance, but it's a new system that the government have allowed over here. Because these babies work on 49 megahertz, of whereby it's a restricted use. You know, like the baby alarm system that you have upstairs in the bedroom.
I know what
you can hear the baby downstairs. This works on the same principle.
Right.
But it's limited use and limited distance.
Okay.
These now are on a new system, and it's PMR 446.
I didn't think you'd remember that.
What you say, I've been doing my homework and I've practised 7 times. But the fact is, whatever those technicalities are, simple, they work up to about 3 kilometres away. All right?
That's not bad, is it?
No, it's pretty good. Clear.
Make a nice little beeping.
Yeah, and there's something very exciting. You'll like this. Not a lot.
Go on,
ready?
Oh, it vibrates.
It vibrates, yeah.
Hang on, go do it again. Oh! Excuse me a sec. No, but...
No, leave it, leave it. Don't go there, right? Don't go there.
Fine enough.
Okay, so, and it's a walkie-talkie.
It is a walkie-talkie, so how the heck are you going to use that on a bike?
They address this problem because this lot here, this bundle of cables and bits and pieces, what they've done is they've done all sorts of accessories that you can buy. A throat mic, for example.
Shall I untangle this lot for you?
No, I wouldn't even bother, mate.
This was neat when you started.
I know, well, look at it all. But what it is, throat mic.
Throat mic.
Earpiece to go inside your helmet.
Hang on, throat mic.
Press the talk button if you want it.
Throat mic, I want to see this throat mic.
Why?
Where's it go?
I'd like to throttle you sometime.
Where's it go? On
your throat, you twit. Where do you think
I know, but does it just go?
Like that. And it works off your voice box.
Like that?
Yeah.
The side of your Adam's apple there?
Yeah.
Does it?
If you've got one.
So microphone.
Earpiece. Press the talk button.
Press the talk button.
If you want it. Right. Or even now, Vox and the press to talk. So this will pick up as you speak.
Pardon?
Don't mess me about, pal.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, press to talk.
Yeah.
Vox
just plug it in the top of the unit here.
Throat microphone.
Yeah.
That's...
See, the advantage with that, of course, is it's less likely to get all the noise from the wind.
Well, if you put your collar up round that, and, you should be away.
It's pretty clever, isn't it?
So, yeah, but hang on a minute, I want to ask you about these. So these are good, they vibrate. I like that. That's
Yeah,
good.
I'm sure you would. But that's on the posh model.
Very fancy. How much are them?
Well, like I think you're looking at like £140 a unit here. Each unit.
That's a lot of channels on them though, haven't they?
Loads, hundreds.
300 and something.
And the advantage with that is the fact that it can be used for commercial use, of course.
So they're all right though. They're good. Lots to choose from.
Yeah.
Is there? I tell you what there should be. I don't know if you operate this. A policy. You don't know how good these are. You can go in a shop, buy these, or try them out in a shop. You can be stood other end of the shop, or even on different floors, and they can be perfect. You get them on your bike, and they may not suit your bike.
This is the problem.
Is there a kind of try before you buy policy with anything like this?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't mind if someone did that, but of course that depends on your dealer or where you're buying them from. But I don't see a problem, let's be fair. If you treat them with the greatest amount of respect when you bought them, take them away, use them. If you don't get on with them or they don't suit your circumstances, surely if you wrap them up very, very nicely and take them back and they're in sellable condition, good working order, I don't see why a dealer shouldn't turn around and say, here, well, you didn't get on with them, but try this other unit.
Right.
No harm in that. Well, that's between the dealer and themselves and the customer.
So maybe check with your dealer first.
So do you want to try some out or what?
I just want to try this vibration thing again.
Just leave that alone.
It's
Listen,
fantastic.
I've got a very new advanced system we haven't yet talked about.
Okay.
And I'd like to try it with you if I may.
I would love to.
So if we shoot off now and you get on your bike and I'll see what we can sort out. I'm sure you'll be impressed with this.
I look forward to it.
Look at this modern technology, eh? A high-tech intercom system. Are you right then, Paul?
Is this the latest technology?
Of course it is.
I don't think it's going to work.
Of course it don't work, eh? I've sussed it out. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. All right, off you go. I hope it's not everybody.
On Two Wheels next week, we celebrate Christmas by looking back at some of our favourite moments. And there's a chance for you to win tickets to a top biking event in January.